Hi, it's Rob, and it's that time of the year when you should be changing your furnace filter. Mine's a little bit overdue, so I'm going to go ahead and change it now. I've got it hidden here behind these doors, so let's go look at my furnace and get the furnace filter out of there. So there's the furnace. And of course the furnace filter is on the inlet side of the furnace. This furnace is quite old. It's about 35 years old. Here is the Aprilaire Space-Gard furnace filter. To open it up, you just lift this up and the door falls down. You can take that out and set it to the side. Then the filter cartridge, let's call it, it just slides out. You can notice that I've got it marked here for the direction on which side the furnace is on. And we'll just slide this whole cartridge out. Just that easy. Now we'll take this, and you can either do this on your floor, or I find it easier to do it on a table. So I'm going to take this over to my table and we'll take it apart. So I've got the furnace out sitting on my table. The furnace side is the side that'll be up for opening this up and replacing the filter. The dirty side, of course, is going to be on the inlet side, which is actually face down right now. So you don't want to shake it too much if you're going to shake out the stuff that's in the filter. On four corners, there's going to be these little clips or flaps. And all you do is you just pop those off the buttons. It's so easy, I can do it with one hand. Yeah, there we go. And then the side panels will just fall down. You can see there's this fiberglass insulation in here to seal the sides. The combs or the separators, I can't remember what they actually call them, but I call them combs. They snap out. You just pull those up. After having done this probably on this filter probably 20 times. Try to do it every year, but of course that never works out. So it turns out to probably average about a year and a half. So all five of those are loose. You can take these out, set those on the side. And here you can see that, interestingly enough, that one of these combs here starts inside the first pleat, and this one here is actually on the outside of that first pleat. So it's not super critical, but just something to notice. Another thing to notice when you're taking this apart then is the orientation of these strips here. Some of the other variations or versions of this, they have a little plastic thing that flips open. I didn't see any videos on them that have this plastic strip. As you can see, notice the orientation of this, how this goes on here. That's important to remember for later, because if you just whip these things off without paying attention, then you're going to have a hard time, not a hard time, but it'll be odd trying to figure out how to put it back on. So I usually pull these off and then set them down exactly the way that they came off. Next, the filter is made of some sort of a paper media, but there's a cardboard pocket or flap on each end that folds over this plastic edge. And the other thing to see is that the filter sits on top of these ribs here. They don't go on the inside like this. So when you take it apart, you'll see that they sit on top of like that on both sides. So it seems like it would be natural to want to drop it down here so it's inside, but that's not the way they go. So anyway, these little cardboard flaps are on each side, each end. You can just grab that and take that and go ahead and throw that away. And I buy all different brands of replacements for the filters. I've had pretty good luck with anything that I've gotten. I usually buy them 2 at a time. So when you get the new ones, a lot of times there's 2 in a box. So the only tool you need for this is probably something to cut the box open to get your filter out. This one here has 2 filters in it. So we're going to just use one, and we'll store the other one on top of the by the furnace. This happens to be Aprilaire brand filter. All you have to really look for when you're looking for the filter, this old style filter, which is still available from several suppliers, is model 201. Just search for Aprilaire 201, and you'll have all sorts of choices that'll pop up. Right now, I just happen to look, and the cheapest ones that I can find are at Walmart. They're about 40, I think it was $42 for a pair, so it's $21 a piece. I don't see the MERV rating on here, but I believe the MERV rating on these filters are generally, when you look them up, they're going to be a MERV 11, which is a pretty good filter for a residence. You can get them up to, pretty easily up to a MERV 13, but for this one you'd have to upgrade the, they have a retrofit kit that you can install in this, and you can get a MERV 13 filter for that. But the MERV 13 filters are more like $50, $60 a piece. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with these. So it's got a little string kind of holding it together so it doesn't come completely apart. You just kind of spread it out. As I said, make sure it's on top of the ribs on both sides. Otherwise it'll be a little odd trying to get this thing together. Take the cardboard flap. This one here is actually a pocket from the Aprilaire brand, and put that right over the plastic rib. Do that on both ends. So it's a little plastic, a little cardboard pocket. Let's put that over the edge. Make sure it's even on both sides. This thing is kind of fanned out. The string is actually making it worse. I think I like the other aftermarket brands. I must have touched this here and got it a little messed up, but that's okay. That comes later. Anyway, take these strips just the way they came off. So we're going to take this end here and slide that right over the cardboard. Shouldn't go on very, very hard. This one, the same thing. Oriented this way. Then probably the most difficult part of this is getting the combs back in, because the spacing is kind of weird. And basically all you do is start at one end and make sure you get one piece of the comb in each one of the slots. You can see how I've got it tilted up like this. I can even do it backwards this way. It might be a little easier to see. So here I ended up getting a double. So you pick it up a little bit, put it back in there. This is only hard for the first one. After that, the other ones will slip right in. If you've done this before, you know, but so just be patient. Take your time. Notice I've got this side pretty deep in, so it's kind of locked in, and you work on the loose end. Put them in one at a time. And now I've got them all in, and that means they're all equally spaced. And after that, it becomes pretty easy because they're all spaced out properly now. So these combs, especially if they're not bent or anything, it should just fall right into place. You could turn the combs around, it doesn't really matter, they're symmetrical. There we go. So we know they're all equally spaced because you can have them all together and the filter's not kinked at all. So you can just slide them over to their appropriate spaces and just snap them in place. Slide it in, push it in. So we've got those all snapped in. Then make sure that your fiberglass is stuck in there pretty good. Looks like there's used to be some glue on here that's worn out over the years. But as long as it folds up and doesn't fall out, then it should be okay. Push the little black retainers. Just make sure you push those in underneath the cover and then snap it shut. As I mentioned before, you want to make sure that the filter's on top of this plastic rib. So we'll just push that up. Make sure that the black part goes in underneath and snap it shut. And you're all done. So up, down, all around. The filter cartridge, this cartridge will only go in one way on your furnace. Here's the model number sticker. This is going to go on the outside. And I marked on here which directions of the furnace. It already says which way the airflow goes, so the airflow goes towards the furnace. Now I see here that looking at this, one of my combs is actually in the wrong spot. So I can pop that out. And we're going to reinsert that. There we go. That looks better. Everything looks nice and even. Now we'll go ahead and slide this back into the furnace. So again, the side that's got the model number on here and it's got the flow mark and these little handling loops. This goes on the outside, so we're going to stick the other end of it in first. And they fit into these slots here. Actually fit into these rails right here, where the rails fit into the slots. So you get the bottom one started, and then the top just lines right up and it slides right in. Then we take the cover, put that in down at the bottom, make sure it's centered, and up at the top, you just push it in and it snaps in. Again, when you're taking it out, all you do is you lift this up and the cover will come right out. And there it is. And then I go ahead and store my filters right here on top. And that's where I'll put my one spare one. Plus, looks like I've got a box with a couple more. Got a little crazy ordering them one time, I guess. And one of the last things to do is if you have your extra filter, I store it with the furnace right here by the furnace. And also don't forget to get out your ink pen and mark the date that you change the filter. So a year or two from now, when you go and scratch your head and go, you know, I haven't changed that in a while. I wonder how, it's only been a couple months. Go ahead and look at what date you wrote down, and you'll find out that it's probably been a year or two. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful for you.